Hey everybody, this is Flavio Romeo, and on this episode of the Towncast, we were at Coffee Corral down in Red Bank, New Jersey, which is a great little coffee shop. They roast their own beans. They've got some great treats, and we met with Ryan Moore, who works at Montclair Film, and he talked a little bit about the Montclair Film Festival, which is coming up, and also he talks about his new movie that he directed and produced called Marijuana Minutes, and we're going to include the link so you can watch the movie yourself. All right, enjoy the episode, everybody. All right, so here we are in beautiful Red Bank. This place is gorgeous. So I encourage you guys to come down. But I'm here with Ryan Moore. Ryan, thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Ryan Moore works at Montclair Film, and just produced your first. Is it your first film?
My first feature, yeah.
Your first feature. So he produced his first feature, and we're going to talk about that. But first, how did you even get involved in filmmaking? Did you grow up? Did you watch movies with your parents?
Yeah, so I've been making films since I got my hands on an old DV camcorder. Yeah.
Yeah, you see, you're younger than me. You had camcorders.
Yeah, we had the
8
DV tapes. Yeah. And then by the time I was in high school, we had a mini DV, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, it's like this big.
The smaller decks, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, shot terrible movies in high school.
You still have them?
I do, yeah.
You're gonna have to have a film festival just of your own stuff.
Some of them I could show. Some of them might be too embarrassing, but yeah. So I've been making films since around middle school age, and then I went.
Friends must have loved that. It must have been so fun.
Oh, it was never hard to find actors.
Yeah. Not at that age.
Yeah. No, everybody wanted to be in them. It was fun.
Yeah, that's great. And so where'd you grow up?
Around these parts, not in Red Bank, but in Homedale,
New
Jersey. But I live in Red Bank now, and went to Homedale High School. Then I went to Montclair.
Shout out your class. You can shout out your class.
Yeah. Shout out to the class of 2009, Homedale High School.
Class of 2009. Yeah. Only 29 years after I graduated. All right, so you grew up there, and did you go to film school?
Yep, I went to Montclair State University. Shout out class of 2014. Loved MSU, loved their film program. Had a great time, and most of the people that worked on my movie that I mentioned earlier, most of the people that were on the crew and about half of the cast were all MSU alumni.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So we're pretty tight-knit group.
Yeah.
We all help each other out on our films, and
Well, everybody's going towards the same goal.
Yeah.
So at Montclair, they teach all aspects of filmmaking, right? Either behind the camera, in front of the camera.
Yeah, everything. So I always my focus was always more screenwriting.
Okay.
But I like to direct as well and produce. But yeah, writing was always more my focus. But yeah, they do everything there, and you can kind of pick your path once you've tried out everything.
Right. So you'd recommend it?
Yeah.
Someone wants to pursue it. I mean, it's great. It's local.
Yeah, local school, state school, so it's affordable.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's awesome. So you graduate film school, and how did you get involved with Montclair Film?
So the film festival, which everybody always mixes up Montclair Film
with the Montclair Film Festival.
With Montclair State filmmaking program with Montclair Film Festival. But now I work for the Montclair Film Festival, and when I was working freelance on TV shows and indie films, I started just picking up a weekend gig teaching film classes there.
Oh, really?
For kids, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So
at Montclair Film?
At Montclair Film Festival, yeah.
Right.
So we have a year-round building there where we run classes out of for middle school, high school adults.
That's awesome.
So I started off teaching middle school film classes, and after doing that as like a side gig for probably 3 or 4 years, I really liked teaching, and I ended up taking a full-time job there as their education program manager. So now I help run the education department there.
That's great.
Yep.
How young can the kids be?
6th grade is our youngest.
Okay.
But if
That's middle school.
if I get an email from a mom who's, or a dad who's like, oh, my kid, their favorite movie, and they say something really esoteric, and I'm like, all right, this 5th grader, we can squeeze them in.
Right. My fifth grader just loves Fellini.
Yeah.
And he'd love to get involved in your program.
Yeah. The 5th grader, he says The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari is his favorite film of all time. So we do sometimes let younger kids in as well.
Yeah.
But
So,
6th grade is our usual limit.
now, is it just filmmaking, or if someone's an aspiring actor?
We do acting classes as well. I'll throw a shout out to our acting teacher, Rob Asaro. He does a great job, but it's acting, for film and TV.
Right.
We don't do theatrical.
Which is different.
Yeah, which is different. Yeah. Yep. You're learning how to play to the camera.
Right. And you're working this big.
Right. You're working small. All your little facial expressions
are huge
really
on the
pop.
screen.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do acting classes. We do improv. We do animation.
Oh, that's great.
Screenwriting, of course, and editing.
And are those summer programs or
all year round? Yeah.
Wow.
So in the summer we run them more like a camp. So it's like 2-week blocks of a class. But during the year we do like once a week on a Monday or a Tuesday after school kind of thing.
Nice.
And some weekend classes. Yeah.
Do you guys have a website or a way that people can find out?
Check it out, montclairfilm.org/education. Come take a class.
Backslash?
Yeah.
Is that backslash, right?
Yeah, backslash.
I'll put it right underneath just to be clear.
Yeah.
So it's montclairfilm.org
Yep.
/education.
Education.
And just if they want general information around Montclair Film, the festival, the dates, and all that, they just go to montclairfilm.org.
Yep, montclairfilm.org. Yep, and we run the Claridge Theater in town as well.
Oh, do you really?
Yep. So we have year-round programming there.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep.
Now the festival is coming up, right?
Festival's coming up. We're about to hit like full throttle festival mode soon. But yeah, the festival runs from October 20th to 30th. Our list of films and special guests comes out soon. Of course, the SAG strike is making it a little harder this year to get special guests. But
are they not allowed to do events like this?
It's tricky. So they can't do an event where they're talking about a movie they've acted in, even if it's an older film. So
is that right?
So they can come and talk about something else. They can talk about the process
about other films or
of acting in general, but they can't talk about any films that they've been in. And some actors, are just playing it safe and not doing any public appearances.
Right.
So we're hoping to get some directors in because they're not
different
striking.
Union, yeah, different.
But it
union.
can't be a director that wrote their own movie because
that's a writer's strike.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. So an actor can come in and talk about other films. Or talk about a process.
Not a film they were in, yeah.
Nothing that they were in.
Right.
And nothing that they wrote.
Right.
That makes it hard.
So it's tricky. So we'll see what we have.
So focusing on directors that did not write their own
material.
material.
Directors that didn't write their own material.
I didn't realize that the strike affected speaking engagements.
Yeah,
too.
affects a lot of things.
Wow.
Even podcasts. If I were a WGA writer, I wouldn't be able to talk to you about my film at all here. But I'm not in the WGA yet.
Right.
And our film was made outside of the the American Motion Picture Association, AMPA.
Yeah.
So we were a scrappy indie film, so we don't really
Guerrilla
we don't fall
filmmaking.
under that. Yeah.
Guerrilla filmmaking. So again, just to ask you about how long, because Montclair Film Festival is now becoming, year after year, it's becoming a bigger and bigger event.
Yeah.
How long has it been around?
I think we're going into year 14 now.
That's it.
13 or 14, yeah.
I feel like it's been a lot longer.
But we've really blown up. I mean, last year we had Brendan Fraser come for The Whale, and he talked to our audience afterwards. And
great movie.
We had Eddie Redmayne come for The Good Nurse, which was a fun one. So we get some pretty big names in, and I think that's helping us.
Yeah, really
grow in our reach.
That's tremendous. Yeah. And you're getting better. To me, like when you see those kind of events and you see the kind of people that show up, it makes filmmakers want to submit their films to your.
Totally.
So if someone wants to submit, obviously it's too late now.
It's too late now for this year. Yep.
When do you guys open submissions for 2024?
It's pretty shortly after the festival. So I don't know the exact date. It changes a little
festival's
bit, but I'm going to
October.
say like early December probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can they
festival's end of
submit
October.
through MontclairFilm.org?
Film Freeway. Just search Montclair Film Festival if you want to submit. Yeah, we get a lot of submissions, a lot of shorts, a lot of features.
How many people review? What's the review process?
I don't know how in depth I can get on that, but basically there's a screening committee of people in the film world who watch the films first, and then they're kind of flagging things that they really like, and then the programmers are going through and making the official selections afterwards.
Okay.
But the programmers watch everything as well. But there are a lot of people watching the films, and every film gets watched, front to start to finish.
I would hope so.
By a few people. Yeah,
I would hope so.
Yeah.
So everybody kind of votes. There's a way that people just vote and say, this is this I like this, I hate this.
It falls on the programmers in the end. So even if like the screening committee are really pushing for something, sometimes it just has to do with
We have too many in this genre.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe there's just too many comedies, too many dramas, whatever it might be. So with any festival, I always tell like my students and stuff, never be offended if you don't get into a festival. 'Cause
Right.
It doesn't mean your film is bad. It could just mean that they had a lot of your type of film.
Right.
Or maybe they're not a festival that focuses on your type of film.
Yeah. Well, and I tell that to actors. I told that to my daughter many times. You could audition 1,000 times and not get cast for a part.
Right.
And it's not
It's not a reflection on your
no, it's not-
ability.
exactly.
Yep.
You're not the right look. You don't have the right accent. You're not the right type. But then that one time that you audition, and you just check every box, and you're in.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't. You have to have a very thick skin
Totally.
in this business.
Yeah, and any facet of the business.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to be ready for a lot of rejection at first. Yeah.
And how many days is the festival?
It's 10 days. Yeah, about 10 days.
And you screen all day, right?
Screen all day, every day. Yeah. The biggest, the weekends are the biggest. That's when most of the filmmakers are coming out. But there are, Q&As every day and a lot of events, and a lot of fun stuff, a lot of parties.
Yeah. It's like our own little Sundance,
Yeah.
right? Sundance East.
Yep, Sundance East.
So listen, make sure you go to MontclairFilm.org. When the schedule comes out, it'll probably be out in September, right?
Yep.
When the schedule comes out, check it out. Take a look at who's going to be involved in the Q&As. It's a great opportunity to see some films that you may or may not see in theaters, a year from now. And I don't think a lot of people understand what the film festival process is. Because I know that you released your film. You have a film that you released, and I know that you've submitted it to festivals around the country, right?
Yep.
So tell me about that process from the filmmaker's side.
Sure. It's honestly the most fun part of the process, and it's kind of like the culmination of all your hard work.
Right.
But yeah, you kind of submit to festivals. I won't get too into the nitty gritty of it all, but you're submitting to big festivals, regional festivals, and then small local festivals, and all three hit different types of audiences.
Yeah.
And from those two upper categories, you can meet distributors, and you can meet scouts for distributors who might watch your film. So a lot of the distributors that approached us was because they saw our film at a festival.
Yeah. That's great.
So it's a really fun part of the process because you get to see how different audiences around the United States, or some people around the world, we didn't have the budget to fly to other countries, but
Are you not going to be at Cannes?
no, not a con.
Not yet.
No. We'll wait for this ambulance to pass. But one interesting thing for us was we found that the Midwest really liked our film.
Really?
Like, we got pretty big audiences in Cleveland, and one of our favorite cities. So shout out their festival, Hell's Half Mile. I'm wearing their shirt right now.
It's the Hell's Half Mile Festival?
Hell's Half Mile Film and Music Festival.
Where's that? What
Bay
area?
City, Michigan.
Listen, you guys that are watching in Michigan, and I know there are some of you in Michigan that watch this, check out the half mile. What is it? Hell's Half Mile?
Yeah. Loved their festival.
They ever tell you why it's called Hell's Half Mile? Is it a certain area?
Yeah. So I'm probably going to botch this, so someone from Michigan can correct me. But if I'm remembering correctly, because this was about a year ago, their downtown area just used to be this kind of pit of debauchery. It was like all the lumberjacks up there after the hard day of work, they would just hit this little strip of bars and other
just all hell broke loose.
other unsavory places.
All in a half mile.
All in a half mile, and now it's a very nice city, and it is not like hell at all. There are great coffee shops, great restaurants, and great movie theaters, and now it's very nice.
Probably not as good as Coffee Corral, but
I love
close,
Coffee
right?
Corral, but close.
Yeah. This is amazing. It's out this backyard.
I know. They do music back here and stuff too.
Do they really?
Yeah, on the weekends.
Like a perfect music festival.
Yeah, great chilling spot.
All right, so you're submitting your films, and the goal of the film festival is to get those laurels, right? Everybody wants the laurels.
You like the laurels, yeah.
Because then you could put that on your poster, you could put that on your website. All right, so let's talk about your movie.
Sure.
Marijuana Minutes.
Marijuana Minutes, yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the film.
Sure. So Marijuana Minutes, it's a stoner comedy with a touch of sci-fi in it too.
Stoner sci-fi.
Stoner sci-fi, yep. So the main character, Amy, gets her hands on, and she's like just a stoner chick. She's not doing much with her life. She doesn't have a job. She's just kind of hanging out. But she's very okay with that. She's very comfortable being
a stoner.
Being a stoner.
Yeah.
And she gets her hands on a weed vape that can rewind time. And originally when I was writing it, I was thinking, like, what would happen if someone got a superpower and they were just, like, not someone that would ever use it for anything practical.
Right.
And that's
like a stoner.
Like a stoner.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what she uses it for. Just
nothing practical.
Mischief and...
how long can she rewind time?
As long as she pulls on it. So that's kind of the double-edged sword of the device, is that she can rewind time for as long as she pulls, but she's also getting more and more stoned. So
so it becomes less practical every time she rewinds time.
So some of the scenes she'll be like rewinding time to say the right thing on a job interview or the right thing on a date. And
right, but meanwhile in a job interview she's getting more stoned.
Right, so she's rewinding time and getting a second chance, but then she does worse on the second chance.
This is what I love about screenwriters, about writers in general. It's a lot of what ifs. It's always, hey, what if, like, you could be having a conversation with somebody and like, what if, and then all of a sudden you go off on these tangents,
right?
And it's like, here's a story.
Totally.
And that's how this happened.
I mean, I feel like I feel like every screenwriter has like a little doom notebook that's full of mostly ideas that won't ever happen, but they're all fun,
Yeah.
And they're all a lot of what ifs. What if this happened?
But then you look at it, it's like, and you have to write them down because at some point you could put a lot of what ifs together into one script.
Sure.
I mean, it could not mean anything at the time, but then when I feel like Quentin Tarantino does that.
Sure.
Like all of a sudden
he's multiple storylines going.
Right.
Yeah.
What if you're driving down the road and you just bring up a conversation that I had about Amsterdam?
Right. You talk about hamburgers for a little bit.
Yeah. Because those conversations actually happen.
Right.
And then he writes them down, and then at some point he's going to use them.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So Marijuana Minutes.
Cheese.
So how long did it take you to write it?
I get asked that question at festivals too, and it's never a satisfying answer. But again, I have my notebook with all my ideas, and I feel like I have this very long process of like I'm slowly formulating the idea in a notebook. I'm like jotting down just scene ideas and character ideas. I always think character is most important.
Of course. So I agree.
I start shaping the characters first, and I don't remember how long that process took. It might have been 2 months, might have been 4 months. I forget when I first like wrote down the main character Amy and her best friend Clover, and I don't really remember. But when I actually started typing it up, that was about a month.
Okay.
So once it like kind of clicks, I write pretty nonstop.
Pretty fast.
But it takes me a little while to get to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm ready to start typing. I have my beat sheet, I have my outline, I have all my character bios. So that the kind of pre-writing part for me takes a lot longer. Yeah,
because you have to figure out the setup, figure out where everybody is at. Now, when you type, I'm always curious about because I've always had all these stories, but I have no idea of how to construct a screenplay.
Oh, you should come to one of our Montclair Film Education adult screenwriting classes,
which is available at montclairfilm.org/education.
Yep.
I may do that, actually. I may do that.
Yeah, our teacher's great. I'll give a shout out to John Rotondo. He's an awesome screenwriter. All the students love him. He has this, it's a Zoom-based screenwriters lab group, and they meet up in person once or twice a year because they're all like so close-knit now because they just keep shopping their scripts as a group, and yeah, they love it. But anyway.
All right, Mr. Rotondo, I may be taking one of your classes. Yeah, because you have all these ideas, and when you're typing, when you're ready to type for that month, are you typing interior, day, continue? So you're typing all of that.
Typing all of it.
You're not just writing the script and then adding that in afterwards.
No, I'm writing it in the
format.
Yeah, in the format, and really that's what that whole pre-writing phase is for. That's for me to just kind of word vomit on the page.
Right.
And just like start jotting down scene ideas, not formatted. Just
use Final Draft.
Use Final Draft. Yeah.
Everybody uses Final Draft.
Yeah. A lot of my like high school students, they like Celtics.
There's a free
I
one. use Celtics. Yeah, I've used that before.
And I started off using that back in high school. So.
But then when you grow up,
I like Final Draft just has enough small things that make your life easier. Where it's like, okay,
this works.
Yeah.
All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna show you the trailer, and then when we come back, we'll talk about how people can see it, how they can, where they can go, and it's coming out. When are you releasing it?
So we are releasing September 1st. Make sure you rent it. It'll be on Amazon. That's the main one we're pushing. It'll be on some other spots too, though. If you don't like using Amazon, we'll be on Vudu. We'll be on Verizon Cable VOD and Comcast VOD, and some other spots.
All right, let's check out the trailer.
He said it'll give you serious marijuana minutes.
My weed pen can send me back in time.
What?
Did you sell that weed pen?
Yeah, I did.
Apparently I need that back.
Oh, yeah, it's sold, amigo.
Some dude creeped into Amy's basement last night looking for that weed pen.
This nice girl then lies to her drug dealers. Drug dealers.
Calm down, Susie.
How am I supposed to calm down?
I'll call Big Bad Ramon. He'll know what to do.
Is it unethical to travel back in time to trick a guy into thinking I'm his dream girl just so I can ride the dong?
Yeah. And it's super cool. Do it. Just don't use that pen for something I wouldn't do.
What wouldn't you do?
I don't know. Help someone.
Excuse me! Hello! Yes, can we get a drink for the fine lady? Consent to hold your hand?
Yeah, sure. Hey, I'm Amy.
Oh, I love your dating life.
There's nothing to worry about. She's perfectly safe. There's no reason for alarm.
Back off, Amy!
This thing has really gone off the rails.
If you don't give me 5 stars, I'll come murder you. And it'll be no big deal because I'll get on my favorite true crime podcast.
All right, that looks like a blast. You had fun making it?
Had a lot of fun.
Did the actors have a blast?
Everyone had a blast, and that's what makes me the happiest about this movie is that every time we do a Q&A with like the actors there and everybody, one of the first things everyone says is that they had so much fun making it.
Yeah.
And I think that's, especially when you're an indie filmmaker and you're making a movie for, pennies, you have to make sure everyone is comfortable, having fun, and just into the process.
Yeah.
Because if they're not,
They're
your movie's going to be bad.
And they're in the wrong business.
Yeah, you're in the wrong business, and also your film is not going to be great.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I always tell my students too, like, as a director for indie films, you got to think of yourself as like a middle manager, a creative middle manager. You're not a tyrant. You're not this like grand artist who's smiting down other people's ideas. You have to be collaborative, and you have to be open to other people's ideas.
Yeah.
And also, most of the time, 20 heads are better than one. So if you're a director and you think your vision's the only way and no one can add anything to possibly improve it,
listen, you guys are
become a painter. Yeah.
You guys are looking at a modern day Kevin Smith. Wasn't Kevin Smith from this area?
He was, yeah.
Was he Red Bank?
He was from his comic book shop is in Red Bank.
I knew that.
Yeah.
I knew that. I knew he had some kind of tie to Red Bank.
Yeah, you should swing by after this.
See if he's in there. Say,
Yeah.
listen.
They have lots of props from all of his films and stuff
Really?
in there. It's a really cool shop if you've never been.
Is it right in this area?
Oh, it's like 5 minutes away. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to stop by there.
Yeah. Secret Stash, it's called.
Secret Stash. So check out Marijuana Minutes. And again, where can people find it? It's going to be September 1st.
September 1st, Amazon Prime, Vudu, Verizon and Comcast VOD. But yeah, Amazon's the one we're pushing. So for your watchers,
Everybody has Amazon. It doesn't cost that much money, and you're supporting a local artist.
rent it on Amazon. Give us a review. All the reviews help.
Now I have to ask, even though cannabis is legal, was any cannabis consumed in the making of this film?
Yeah, we get this question all the time too. No cannabis. I will neither confirm nor deny if there was cannabis involved in the writing process, but there on
We'll
set.
put a disclaimer at the bottom.
Yeah.
No cannabis was consumed
during the making
of this film.
Yep.
All right,
But,
there you go.
But during the filming process, no, we used props. We used lavender.
What do people use?
We loved lavender for the joints because it actually smells kind of nice when it's burning, and
Right.
you're not like in this.
And can you inhale lavender?
You can, yeah.
Really?
I mean, you
I always thought they
shouldn't
used
really
clove.
inhale much, but
Yeah. I always assume they use clove, like clove cigarettes, clove.
oh
joints.
yeah. You could use that too. And we used a few things. We used mullein, which is another herb, and we used some CBD hemp as well especially for the shots of the bags because it had to actually look real.
Like it, right? Yeah. That's so cool. Marijuana Minutes. And listen, for anybody that wants to get involved in filmmaking, you have children, friends, relatives that love the process, even as an adult, because you said they have the adult
Yeah.
screenwriting class. Do they have adult filmmaking class too?
We have a documentary class that's running in the fall that's for adults. All of our adult classes also we have as 16 and up. So if you're like a really dedicated high schooler, you can jump into the older classes. I was in a improv. I take the improv classes at work, and because it's like I don't know, it's like therapy for me. But we've had improv classes where our youngest student is 16 and our oldest student is 82. Runs the gambit.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's
so
great.
all ages are welcome, and everybody always has a good time.
So it's out there now. All the festivals have. How many festivals are you in now?
I think our end count was around 20.
Wow.
Yeah, we did around 20 festivals. We did a couple overseas, but we didn't go out to them. But yeah, we did around 20
Are they still going on? The
festivals.
festival's still going?
Our last one was last Sunday.
Really? That was
Yeah,
it for the
that
year?
was the final one. Just because once we're out on September 1st, festivals won't take you anymore because people can see it other places.
Yeah, right.
So August 12th was our 13th.
Yeah, that's
was
the
our
rule,
last
right?
one.
It can't be seen anywhere else.
Right. There might be some, small, regional, smaller, local town festivals kind of thing that might take it, but also like just submitting to festivals gets expensive. So we were like, we had to call it at some point.
That's the other that's the other thing I don't think people understand is when you submit your product to any festivals, there's a submission price you have to pay to send it because that money pays for the people to view it.
Right.
I mean, you got like Montclair Film Festival. You have all these people screening.
Yep.
They're on salary. They got to get paid. So people submit, and so I encourage you guys. So the money that you're spending to watch it on Amazon is helping defray a lot of the costs that independent filmmakers spend on making these films.
Yeah.
You have anything else in the works?
Yeah. So I have one project I can't talk about yet, but I have another script I'm working on. They say the riches are in the niches, or the niches.
Niches.
But for the rhyming sake, we'll say niches.
Exactly.
Yeah. So one thing we heard from a few of the distributors was, we don't have any big A-list celebrities in our film. But one of the reasons they were attracted to it is because it is a niche audience.
Right.
The stoners, yeah. So we have
Cheech and Chong.
Right, we have a built-in audience. So that was something I kind of latched onto, and I'm like, okay.
So did High Times pick it up or no?
Not yet. We're trying. If anyone has a contact at
High
High
Times,
Times,
please
let us know.
Yeah.
So I'm working on another script for a stoner comedy This one's a horror stoner comedy instead of a sci-fi stoner comedy.
All right.
Yep.
You're exploring all of the stoner genres.
Exactly. All the subgenres.
If people want to see it, is there a website for the film? Like if they want to see the trailer, they want to learn more about it?
Marijuana-minutes.com will bring you to our website, and we have the trailer up there. We have all the laurels up. You can see where we've been. And we'll probably be putting up some clips there as well at some point.
All right, so check out marijuana-minutes.com to learn more about Ryan's film. And then make sure you go to montclairfilm.org and just explore all of the different things that they do. It's pretty amazing. It's right here, and it's become a really big deal in this area. I mean, you've got some big submissions and big names that are coming out to support the films, but also to support the festival.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, hopefully we'll see you in October at the festival, and definitely have a watch party. Get a bunch of people, all right? And have a watch party on Amazon and help support Ryan's film and all the actors. So, were they all friends of yours?
Yeah, I knew everybody going into it.
Nice.
I mean, a lot of the roles were written for those people specifically.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep.
Again, montclairfilm.org and marijuana-minutes.com. All right, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, be well, everybody.